In Rwanda, in Uganda, people are being arrested for being political prisoners with a leader that has ruled for 20 years. Tanzania, they investigate relationships, violence, no jola. And then the next thing is the prosecution of political prisoners. In Rwanda, Paul Kagame, since the genocide, you have been the only president. You are now starting to be a reminder of the genocide. And all of these things go back to your relationships. These relationships are the reason why the whole economy goes nowhere. Ibrahim and Zelensky wear a military uniform not because of they think it's fashion, but for the same reason. Sundowns is competing. Minimum qualification is $10 millions. Sundowns yearly budget is 10 million rand. We need to change the standard which we rate ourselves. Do you think these shows that all end up in KwaZulu-Natal, even if they start somewhere else, they end up in KwaZulu-Natal? That if Caspanyo Vesto was to take a black coffee, they say I'm dating Mbali Mlotch, or you think that the show would be on TV? They use you. I understand. A doctor is able to compartmentalize so that he can focus on one thing. Doesn't mean that it's not a skill that you can learn. It's not a surgeon thing. I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm important. Doesn't mean I have to be in a relationship. I do not ever again see myself allowing myself to be vulnerable for someone else. Why is it only the men with money that can allow themselves not to be vulnerable in a relationship, and it's okay because of he can pay for every apology? Then I'll also wait for the money until the day I'll allow someone in. Women are just as capable of saying that they will not allow themselves to be vulnerable again. If you play with a dildo with the size of a flask, understanding me, you are telling the world that you don't care what it has to offer anymore. Because if you have to answer the question, what do you want? You want sex? You want a penis? Penis is sold now. They sell them, they are made from plastic. Some are even bigger than this flask, and they use them. This size. And then you think that girl cares about you. A girl would rather go fuck a teddy bear. Excuse my language. I try to maintain. But not you. I understand. These relationships are killing you, women. Not enough flabbers are coming up. It's always the ratos. How can you ladies still have 2 degrees and then expect some guy to come fetch you just because you met them on Tinder? At which point do you say that we will meet at Sentin Hotel and I'll pay 1.5 an hour or a day? Who cares? But my main question is that at which point do ladies take responsibility for themselves? Because of now, GPV is older than ESCOM, is older than the HIV pandemic. Desperation does not go well with the law of attraction. You need hindsight to now look back. If I'm not willing to be vulnerable in a relationship, but I'm willing to be vulnerable to stand in my phone and talk to you, what does that say about me? Better yet, what does it say about you? Keep behaving the same, ladies, in relationships, and I promise you, we'll bury you. No problem. Because if you don't want to learn, keep giving men all the power and they will keep behaving the same. You don't encourage your men to reach a higher standard by inviting them in your family and they see that everybody here makes over $500,000 every year. We don't have enough conversations of how is that co-op that you've opened with your friends, how is that NGO that you are maintaining with your girlfriend, how is that night daycare that you run with your friends. If I made 20,000 and you made 10, who's supposed to take out 20,000 for a 1 million rand house every month? It's time we hold ourselves to a higher standard, because of the truth is nobody's coming to save us. They don't care about you. There's the one thing that they think they can't police: your relationships. Imagine the day somebody else does. Doesn't have to be me. Let your soul pay your dues or sell it to the devil. Why must I accept that you undermine me? Why can't I pay for my revenge? You think there's always not gonna be a thing. And I pity relationships, especially South African ones. We are not going anywhere, ladies, until you start fixing yourself. You'd be surprised to find that there's still women who go to the club with no money. Who the fuck do you expect to pay for your drinks? And then tomorrow you give them power over you. You don't encourage your man to rise to a higher standard. A man in Sentin does not beat up his wife or rape her. Instead, he'd rather stab them both the day he finds her cheating with someone else. But every day, police coming there, a domestic disturbance, not from a person in Sentin. You don't have to live in Sentin, my people, to start taking care of yourselves. Do it for your sisters. If you don't do it for you, if the day it says 3-in-1 women suffer from sexual harassment, when you're sitting with 3 friends in a room, one of them, you will have to be telling them that be open with us. And the day it's 1 in 2, if you don't say to your girlfriend, friend, what happened, that means it's the next 2 chicks or the next 2 ladies that you run into on the street. Don't do it for yourself, do it for your sister. Because of these relationships, they harm us. They come back and kill us. You understand that if a man feels powerless in a relationship, be honest. What do you do with something that you are afraid of? Just because of is a python or is an anaconda, it's the same thing. It's just a different continent. Because he went from boyfriend to husband, you think he changed? He didn't change. You give these people power over you, and they will rule over you.